How do we relate that to what is happening in most of the states today in Nigeria, to the extent that the same grassroots democracy we're talking about hasn't been in place in some of the states? If truly they believe that it is that important, and if they believe that irrespective of who is there as the chairman of any local government, irrespective of what political party you belong to, it doesn't affect your own dealing with them, you should do what you're supposed to do for the people who are the electorates, then they will conduct election. But the news we get is that almost, in fact, majority of the states, they all have caretaker committees or some kind of administrators in place.
You see, again, I'll go back to my point again, that the performance of whoever is at the helm of affairs will go a long way in people believing what you have done. Few days back, or just few weeks back, I moved away from the PDP to a Labour Party. Now you ask me, why? For what reason?
And you left People's Democratic Party.
Yes, I did.
You are now in the Labour Party.
Exactly, I did. For what reason? Dr. Olusegun Mimiko has shown a good measure of reliability and dependability. I ask nothing from him. I've looked at his personality, I've looked at his person, I've looked at his program, I've looked at his performance, and I'm endeared. And I went and spoke to a good number of persons in my place. Let us follow this man. He can take us to where we are going. I mean, that is the level. If we had had such kind of credible individuals within the former party in which I was, I wouldn't have left. And so when we look at individuals who are credible, dependable, and reliable, if I were to be in Edo State, I would have joined Adamu Shomole.
So is it that you just joined a party that seems to be doing well?
No, of course, I will not join.
I'm not believing that your own party can even do better given the chance.
Excuse me. When you have, that's the point I was trying to raise. You must bring in credible individuals to take charge. If, for example, we are to conduct a primary, 5 of us are contesting. 2 are medical doctors, 1 a lawyer, 3 engineers, and somebody sits down somewhere and he says, don't worry, I've looked at your faces. This is the anointed son. It's ridiculous. It's disgracing. It's disgusting. You don't expect me to stay there? I will not. But if we go to the contest and I score 0, I will be satisfied that, look, this primary, it was because I had not done enough. That was why I scored 0. Than somebody saying, I have anointed A and go ahead and get it done. At my state level, and I'm not casting aspersion at PDP, what I did at the time I was there, I have no regret about it. No regret. And I'm not going to make any comment about it. Yeah. But as at the time I also left, I discovered that we are having issues. You recall a number of times I've been here on your program, and I will say we did this well. I'm commending Mr. President now. I'm no longer in his party, but I'm commending him.
I was going to talk about that. How do you now foster, because the stage we get into now seems so new to loads of Nigerians. How do you foster this kind of, should I say, affinity, inter-party affinity? Like now, a moment ago, you gave the president some passes, and now you're saying some pass marks, rather.
My dear,
but now you're saying you're also a member of the Labour Party.
I am an objective man. I get comment. I talked about Fashola just a moment ago. If you go, when I was on the board, this man from Rivers State, Rotimi Amishi, did credibly well. If I were to be in Rivers State and it's doing well the way it is doing, I will go with those who are doing well. The ditto also for Akwa Ibom. What is his name? Akwa Ibom is doing well. Just a moment. Mm-hmm. I am an objective man. I go with what is reasonable, what is acceptable, what is normal, what is good.
But that's not the politics we know.
No, I am not one of them. For goodness, I'm a lawyer.
No, sorry. For
goodness sake,
how do we call people like yourself? For instance, if you give pass mark, if you're with the Labour Party, you've given some kind of pass marks to the president, who is a member of the PDP,
of course,
and Fashola, who is a member of the ACN.
That's correct.
The same with Adams Oshomola, who is a member of the ACN.
Very well.
Isn't that what they call in politics anti-party activity?
My dear, the truth of the matter is this: what is good is good, what is bad is bad. If you have a son who is a rascal, who is not doing well, and you have the son of your own junior brother or junior sister who is doing well. For goodness sake, give the scholarship to that individual and say, because of your industry, you are entitled to this scholarship. But else this country will be ruined.
No, but that's not really the issue here. I mean, if we're talking about democracy, you brought out something now. You're talking about, you seem to be talking about democracy at the party level. You understand? When individuals come out to run, and it would seem that in that, there is already an anointed candidate within these people or amongst these people that you have mentioned. We have instances where it was a, let me say, a predecessor or a big figure in the party who picked somebody, but the person has turned out to do very well. So the question is, how do we deepen our democracy, knowing how our party affairs are sometimes run? Do we start from the party level, or do we go deeper than that and go to the grassroots, or do we rely on, is it INEC at the national level to help us, get some form of democracy?
Picking it from the grassroots level, the foundation of a house determines the structure of that particular house. We must start at that particular level. When you come to the party level also that has its own constitution must also be willing to abide by its own constitution when there are choices. Allow the best of all of them to come out. What you have mentioned is an exception in this regard. It is 1 out of a million. And I can mention what we have talked about. Yes, the person may have performed well, but there are others who have also been anointed. And those anointing fell by the roadside. Never went well.
It could have also been that the person could have been elected and also fallen by the roadside.
The truth of the matter, if he's elected, we can hold him responsible for his words, for his action. We can, for example, look at what Mr. President said about Adam Oshomole. Said, you were elected based on your performance and what you have done in Edo State. That's the president, PDP man, commending the one of ACN.
But what if the ACN did not return him as their candidate? What if somebody else had come in?
I followed the process of what happened in Edo State. Oshiomole went through the processes. He went through it. I saw it. So it is going through the processes that once you go through the process, there 1 or 2 persons may be annoyed that you have defeated them, but at least it's not because somebody just picked you from the blues. So again, I go back to my point. The performance, the credibility of individuals in times to come will be determining who and who will be governing us. We also go a long way to show whether this individual can be trusted, it can be relied upon, or it's an individual who may not be trusted.
Quickly, let's see how we can, how we can support the long-term electoral successes gained so far, if we say truly we've gotten to a place where we can say we've fared well.
Well, I think the leadership would do more. The leadership would do more. The failures we've had thus far had all emanated mostly from the leadership in the country. And they have not fared well in that particular regard. And for the populace to trust, therefore, there should be more commitment from the leadership at the federal, at the state, at the local government, for the people to trust them, that when they vote, that their votes will count, and that there will be meaning to what they do when they come with their electoral promises, talking to the people. So it is when the people begin to see the performance of these individuals. I do not intend to personalize, but you see, what is good is good. There is a young man in my own local government who is the chairman of my own local government. Within the space of 10 months, he did marvelously well. And this is on record. You go to Igbokoda and you see the road, the one that passes through the secretariat. Igbokoda, Ilaja local government has been in existence since 1976. But within the space of just 10 months, the kind of road you see in Apapa, this interlock kind of a thing, that's what the young man did. He has also built some other things within the space of 10 months. I'm impressed. I feel happy. So such individuals, when it comes out tomorrow and it says, when I was there, I did A, B, C, D, you can point to it and say, this was what you did. And people can hold you to your words. So the leadership, therefore, must of its truth and of honesty show larger commitment. There and then, the populace will begin to watch, and like that dog, they begin to see, oh, I have been released, I can trust them.
What about, do you ever think that we'll get to a situation where we'll begin to look at the programs of parties? Because, right now the focus is more on the individual. You say that if an individual does well, chances are that he will be re-elected again. But if the individual has never been given a chance before, do you think we can get to a situation whereby we can say, from what this party has presented and from what this party has presented, even despite the fact that this party is currently in power, we can actually, let's give this other party a chance based on the programs that they have presented?
Of course, we should get to that level. And that's why I'm also an advocate of having this individual candidacy. I am an advocate of it. Notwithstanding that the National Assembly jettisoned it the last time, it's a thing to revisit. When a person of personality presents himself, you can say, this individual is trustworthy, is honest enough, we can depend on him, we can trust him, let's give him. But by the time you hold the hand of everybody, the process now is that if the party does not sponsor you, you cannot be anywhere. Assuming, for example, I don't like Party A, I don't like Party B, I don't like what they are doing, because most of the political parties, they are what they call it, program of actions are more or less mobbled together from almost all the parties, copy from A or B. There are no clear distinctions, as it happened in 1979 in UPN and MPN and MPP, then PRP, as it went. Most of them these days are just pseudo-copying of each other. So we don't have defined objectives of what they are striving at. But Sula had warned me. He said, because I belong to a party, that I shouldn't make comments. But again, you know me, I am an objective person. Notwithstanding, if tomorrow, and I don't mean any disrespect to the governor of Ondo State, if tomorrow he does not do well, I will back out and tell him to his face, Your Excellency, you are not doing well. I had resigned from a government before, when the government was not doing well. I was not in the party. I tendered my letter of resignation. I went back to my practice. I'm a lawyer, for goodness sake. So I can, at any moment, take a leave of what is not being fair. I said, look at what happened in the state. In the world, sometimes backward, the leadership met and put up what we call the Millennium Development Goals. These are the things that should be done by the states, by the countries of the world. Education, health, the development of the downtrodden, those who are less privileged, and all that. If we look at my state objectively, you see the market springing up the way they have been done. It is not for the rich people to go and take over.
Well, the traditional institutions, that's another area we have to look at. How can they contribute to our democratic processes?
Well, to a large extent, I would think that our traditional institutions, to a very large extent, should be insulated from active politics. The reason being this: if King A likes the government in power, and tomorrow it's somebody that takes over, he may be a situation wherein that particular king may be dethroned. But they also can go a long way in saying, if government A is doing well, or if we are seeing the performances of A, B, C, D, they can make their comments in that regard, telling the populace, please let there be no crisis, let there be no shedding of blood, let there be no thuggery, let there be no war. Election is not a war, it is a game. And they can go a long way in that particular regard. That should be the limit they should go. They shouldn't carry the cap of Party A and put on their heads and then be seen everywhere. That won't be nice. That won't be neat enough. Though, when a government in power has a function, definitely the traditional institutions definitely will be there. But when it is political, they should be able to step aside and know their bounds.